Good evening, my YouTube friends and family. Hello, how are you? How are you? Happy Thursday evening. I know it's like a little bit past 10. Some people are like sleeping in bed, relaxing. Just a little while ago, I was watching something and I was playing with Justin and I almost fell asleep. But I wanted to come on here and see you guys and let you guys, see me, because I wanted to make a video. I don't know if you guys saw the video that I made this afternoon, but I made a nice video this afternoon called important to be graceful, I believe is the name of it. It's the ones with the woods. It's obviously just the last one that I made. It was this afternoon, like the evening that I made it, like at sunset, around sunset. So I hope everybody's doing good today. I hope all the kids and the grandmas and the dads and the moms, I hope everybody's doing well. I'm sending you guys lots of love. So I figured today that we would continue on talking a little bit more about grace, right? Giving ourselves grace. I don't know if that's something that you think about ever, like, unless it was brought to your attention. Like, who thinks, like, when I was in my 20s, teens, 30s, I don't think I ever thought, Bridget, give yourself some grace. But I did hear sometimes a couple of friends say, Bridget, you have to give yourself some credit for this and that, and, trying to tell me, how good I do at this or that and stuff like that, or how well I take this or that, and, so at times, I guess they were trying to show me maybe I should take a better look at myself and give myself some grace, right? But they didn't say those exact words. But it's kind of like when people talk to you, kind of like, it really depends on the person. You know how like your ears are open to certain people and your ears are really open to certain people? Like, we have selective hearing. We just do, right? But if you really think about that question, like now, like if you've never thought about that before, like maybe I should give myself some grace. Like, what would that look like for you? How would that show up in your life? Like, if you gave yourself grace, you might be sitting there saying, grace for what? Or, I do give myself grace, or, whatever it may be. But now I think is the first time in my life. I'm 45, and as you guys know, I'm 45. I'm a single mom. I have a 5-year-old son who has complex medical needs, right? I've overcome lots of depression, anxiety, some other things. But when I say overcome, let me be clear on that, because I was talking in the video, I want to say maybe yesterday or something. I don't know that somebody has ever fully, like, if you have depression or anxiety or post-traumatic stress disorder, I don't know if those things ever necessarily 100% go away, Like, I think that we might be okay for 6 months, for a year, have happier days than others, but then the season changes, right? And you don't know why you're feeling like a little melancholy or whatever. You can be in traffic and you don't know why you're like shaking your knee. You know what I'm saying? Like, just normal life stresses and stuff like that. But if you've been clinically like diagnosed with depression, anxiety, or post-traumatic stress disorder, I know that there's so many, you know, steps that we can take. And I've taken not all, but a lot of different steps as far as like therapy, doing my own work, you know, self-reflection, stuff like that. You know, and it does help. It does help. And it does depend on the severity of excuse me, your mental state. You know what I mean? But what I was gonna say is that even if it's just at a, you know, an okay rate, and you're not like crying, or you're not like super depressed or super anxious, and you're just okay, you learn how to live with it, right? You learn how to cope, you learn your coping mechanisms. Those things are your tools, right? You have your little tools to go to, and that's good. That's what we need, our little tools to go to. Like if we're gonna have like an anxiety attack, or we feel like we're getting depressed, or we are depressed. I'm saying these things as an example of what it's like to give yourself grace, right? Like, you know that you're not feeling that well, and you're not feeling like the brightest bulb, right? Like, but you still have to get up, and you still have to do what you have to do. You still have to go to work. You still have to get up. You have to care for your children. You have to feed them, right? Clothe them, make sure their teeth are brushed, make sure their appearance is well maintained. You have to make sure you're well groomed. And this is just like if it's like just you and that child, not even talking about like multiple children and husband and all that good stuff. You know what I mean? And then you get to work and you do those hours at work, and then you're in the car on the ride home, ready to cook dinner, go to sleep. But you got to do some things before you go to sleep. You know, you got to take care of that household, take care of those kids, and probably if you have your husband, you know what I mean? Maybe hopefully you guys work together on things and stuff like that. But it's like, this really pertains, I'm a woman, so I can talk about this really fluently from a woman's perspective. From a man's perspective, I can just talk about it from the outside looking in, right? But I just think that there's so many reasons why we have to give ourselves grace, and not be so hard on ourselves, especially for the average working 9-to-5 people, or people with, you know, careers that are real physical, like men with real physical careers, or even just doctors, lawyers, anybody, people working anywhere really, the cash register at Walmart. It's like, I just feel like we always can have something to be not so happy about, or not so pleased with ourselves about. But the person from the outside looking in can see that you did a lot that day. You did a lot that day. You got a lot done that day, right? And you wasn't even feeling your best, and you still got up and you made things happen for your family. Your children, their world go round because of you, mom. Right? Right? Especially those little babies, all of them, because every single age has their own needs. So, you know, we're in the season where it's the best season of all, right? Like, it feels like it can be winter wonderland right now. You know, it's cozy and toasty, and Oh, I just love every single thing about this season. And I think it helps because I'm such a homebody, and I'm like all about, you know, those little twinkling little movies, and those movies that warm your heart, and the warm your heart romance books and all that stuff. The cooking, the bacon, the smells, the blankets. I'm like, you just need to build me a little cabin with my son and, you know, let us be. But we're in a season where, like, these months, they can be great and they can be winter wonderland, but a lot of people are hurting. A lot of people are trying to work overtime because they know Christmas is coming. A lot of people are working overtime because they want to get those flights in to be with their families on Thanksgiving. They want to get that money in to be with their families on Christmas by, you know, not disappoint their children on Christmas and stuff like that. And I say, like, a real big part of that is like grieving. Like, a lot of people don't have family, right? And then some people lost family members that mean so much to them, that are the closest people to them, right? It could be one person, it could be more than one person, and they're missing them so much around these days. So I know what that's like firsthand. I'm talking to you guys through experience of my own. Okay? So this is just my perspective and that I'm sharing with you, right? So when I had, let's just say, for right now, all of my family members, we were not a perfect family by far, right? But at least they were there. At least I could go and have somewhere to call home, because let's say I had a parent there or something, or like a grandparent. It's true, home is where the heart is, right? And so I just feel like holidays are what you make them. I'm happy that in my family, we never made holidays the biggest days of the year, ever. Like, half of my family didn't even celebrate holidays, and the other half, it wasn't all that big of a deal. But me, in my heart, the thing that I liked about the holidays and this time of the year was seeing the unity, seeing the people together, seeing the lot of traffic and the people coming in on the flights and running and hugging their family and rushing to be with them, and the excitement actually of when I was working 9-to-5 job, and, you know, talking to a friend and, you know, her like, oh yeah, and being so excited about like buying this gift and stuff like that for like a boyfriend or something. And even if I was doing the same thing or not, like, I felt that energy. Like, I felt that like excitement and happiness. Like, oh yeah, it's gonna be so fun, right? It's gonna be so nice, right? And, you know, at the times that I have experienced those things and stuff like that, it was so much fun. It was just so much fun. It's so much fun coming in the house when you have, let's say, a medium size or even small family to come into, right? Home to. But again, not everybody has that, right? Not everybody has that. Some people had that once upon a time, and now some people don't have that. Or some people that have had a child, you know, and they don't have that child anymore. My condolences actually to everybody that has lost a person in their lives around this season or any time of the year, because I know that it affects you more deeply around the times where people are brought together. You know what I mean? It's like there's that chair with that one missing person, or these couple of chairs around the table with these missing people, right? It can be parents that went through a divorce, right? And you have little children and it's not the same. You know what I mean? It's like the kids don't know if they should want to go with their mom or their dad, or how are they going to handle this situation this year. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's trying to work out something in their head to make it the best, when you really, really think about it. Don't we all really just want the best out of life? Don't we all just want somebody that we can make smile and laugh, and definitely that can make us smile and laugh? I think that's the best, right? Just the light fun, and just, you know, the hugs and the love and the coziness of it all. Don't we all just want that? I don't think people actually wake up and just, I don't know. I couldn't say, but it would be hard for me to wrap my head around people just waking up and wanting to feel crappy, or wanting to act not so nice towards somebody, or not be in a good mood. I don't think people plan those things. I don't think we plan those things, right? I think that really hurt people. And that may sound cliche, because it's a pretty much of an old saying, but I have seen that time and time again. You can just meet somebody for the first time at a store, and you have no idea why this dude is going off at the cashier. You're like in back of him like, dang, let me move out his way, because he's just going off, right? Now the cashier is all upset, and the guy leaves. And I mean, I've witnessed stuff like this, you know? And it's not about the cashier, it's about the man or the woman who went off on the cashier. They're having a bad day. It's like everybody's hurting and nobody knows where to place their pain. People inadvertently take out their anger and their frustrations and their grievances on the people that are closest to them usually. Or strangers, right? So when I say that it's important for us to give ourselves grace, if we can be aware of ourselves enough to say, you know what, I might have fell short today just on this. I might have got to work today late again for the 4th time, you know, in 2 weeks or whatever. Or I might have snapped at this person and snapped at that person. And, you know, just take a mental note and take accountability for that within yourself. That's where you grow. When you can self-analyze yourself and self-check yourself, and then self-correct yourself, change behavior is the proof. You know what I'm saying? And again, what I was kind of going back to when I was talking about this the other day, a lot of people don't want to take accountability for their actions. They just want you to know that they're hurting, right? Sometimes they don't even want to tell you why they're hurting. They just lash out on you, and then you're like, damn, did you have to say it like that? Or you know, if you know the person or if you don't know the person, it's like, I wonder where all that steam came from, right? Well, just know that 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10, it has nothing to do with you. The way a person lashes out and the way a person acts towards innocent people, or even their family members or the closest people around them, usually it has nothing to do with you. Usually it has to do with that individual. It starts with thyself, right? To thine own self be true. And once we can start as a human race just trying to stop being so angry at things, trying not to be so angry. Because here's what it is. When people are hurting about something generally, or people are angry about something, right? A lot of people will lash out in different ways, even if it's just that you raised the pitch of your voice to somebody and you made the person shake, that didn't expect it. Even it can be anything, any situation. I'm sure you guys have had or witnessed some of this behavior, what I'm trying to say, because I can go on and on and on. The list goes on and on. It really just doesn't stop to where it ends. Like, we're watching shows right now on real TV, like, real platforms in real time, and especially us women, we're in disbelief, like with our mouths open, like, wow, that person did this to this person did this to this. So the list can go on and on about the way right now, as a human race, people are just hurting about something and about things, and they're not taking their own accountability, and they're not manning up. If you're a woman or a man, like, manning up and saying, you know what, I don't know. Even if you don't know what's bothering you, you have to seek help. You should seek help. Don't ever feel weak for doing that. That's where you're strong. That's where your strength is gonna be. Wherever you're weak, if you put attention to your weak spot, that's where you're going to be strong in. That's where your strengths are going to lie. Right where those weaknesses are. But you have to put in the work. Right? And then you're going to even out. You know what I'm saying? Because if we can, if majority of us, I'm saying, this doesn't even have to be in a perfect world. This can just be like one person saying it. I know I'm not the only person that, notices things like this or feels these things that I'm saying, and I'm explaining how I feel to you guys on this YouTube platform. And I know there's so many people that can relate, right? Now, these kind of conversations, if they're had within your own immediate family, like health talk, or take a day out of the week and just, hey, how you feeling? To whoever you live with, right? Hey, how you feeling? No, but are you really feeling okay? You know what I mean? And really just try to support each other with bringing things to the forefront about how we're really feeling and stuff like that. And And once we talk about things and stuff like that, that's when the healing can begin. And that's when the things that we see stop and cease. And what I was going to say before this part was, usually people that are hurting, they're not just lashing out on other people. They don't just have an attitude for nothing. Sorry, I was looking at something on my screen. Usually they're self-sabotaging themselves. They're hurting themselves, right? It can be with a numerous amount of things, right? And that's because there's pain there. There's pain somewhere in there. So they're trying to cover it. We're trying to cover it. Because I was that person as well. I don't live in that house anymore. But there was a part of me that I had a time in my life, you know, that I was hurting. And sometimes, again, things happened in your life, but you don't know that that's the reason why you're hurting. Some people just don't know that because this happened, it affected you the way that it did, and that's why you're hurting. You can be hurting, for multiple reasons. Only thing that I'm saying is that when you become an adult, I don't know that age really makes you an adult. I don't think that people should drive at 16. I don't think that people should be drinking or whatever is it 21 or 18? I don't know. But I think that there should be just more to that than the age, because everybody matures differently. You know what I mean? And I know that would be a hard society, right? Because who wants to take care of, trying to analyze people at certain ages and stuff? That's not going to happen. So what's really important is that at least we know what's going on in our own homes with our own children and our own mates. Because again, I'm 45, so I do consider myself an adult now, right? I hear you, Tootie. He's not an adult in there. So it's just a lot of self-reflection. This has happened before my age of 45. But I mean, the sooner that you can take accountability and responsibility for the way that you feel, and not necessarily, it really doesn't. So this can go so many different ways. Like, this topic can go in many different ranges, right? Because everywhere my mind turns, I have an example. So I don't want to give them all to you, right? Because this was about really just giving yourself grace and how you can self-analyze yourself for where it is that you fell short today, or you think you did fall short today, right? And don't take it that seriously. Like, don't take yourself so seriously. Like, it's okay. As long as you didn't hurt anybody, or yourself, it's okay. The line draws when you're hurting somebody else. Okay? And if you're going to hurt yourself, then that's where the line draws, because the next step is probably hurting somebody else, right? So we wanna check the temperature with ourselves in our own mental statuses, right? And we want to hold ourselves accountable, because it's very easy to say, oh, because this happened, that's why I feel the way that I feel. Now, granted, I was just talking about grieving people. Right. People can be very melancholy around this season, and then, they change the clocks It's a certain season. Everybody's stressed out, you know, probably not everybody, but some people, they're just trying to survive. And they're trying to make their family happy and themselves happy. But so many moms get in that shower and cry when they cannot, when they feel like they're not rising up to the standards that they have for themselves, right? Or they feel their family has for them. How many fathers break down and we don't see it? Or we do see it and we just think like either that's their way or whatever the case may be, because they're working and men have a lot of the weight of the world on their shoulders, you know what I mean? And they're lashing out at younger and younger ages. Because it starts from like, even though it starts from the home, because there's so many people that come from good homes that, you know, when you get to a certain age, you just do what you want to do. So it's not like, you know, it's like you have to take self accountability when you get to a certain age and just know that, you know, I need to make sure that I'm good with myself and give myself grace and don't be so hard on myself. Because if you don't give yourself grace, what's going to happen is it's going to harden your heart. If for a month straight you find a problem with yourself and you're mad at yourself, you're going to, how many people say bad words to themselves, about themselves? After a while, that repetition, that's what your poor body and your mind hears about yourself. It's not a positive way to be. You want to reverse that and say, I'm not this name, I'm not that name. I'm going to show myself some grace because I know I've been going through a lot. I know this happened. I know I lost this person, or I know I'm, you know, you could be getting a divorce. You could have had a breakup. Just whatever it is that's causing you pain, if you know what it is, just give yourself some grace and cut yourself some slack, because you don't want to have a hardened heart. People are too beautiful. Right? There's so much beauty within us to walk around with a hardened heart, because that's a synopsis of what we're seeing in the world right now, is people who are desensitized from one another. We're looking at things right now on TV that's why I don't like, before, like years ago, because you know I was around when the TV only had 3 stations, okay, 10, 12, 64, channel 6, stuff like that. And then after 12 o'clock the TV used to go shh with the black and white fuzz, right? We didn't have cable when I was little. So all those things are just coming about, but not just coming about, but came about after, you know, after the fact that I was a little child. But what I'm trying to say is, when I first saw stuff like that, like on TV, like hard, gory stuff, you know, I was like, but then you just stop. Like, I didn't like it. I did not like it. Because, you know, especially there's the music that surrounds creepy stuff. Like, you know, you know, don't get them, that music that surrounds those stories that they're telling. Because that's what makes it even more creepy, you know, or scary or mysterious, however you want to call it. But then there was a time in my life where I just started getting interested, right, in some of the stories, because it's like you're in disbelief. You're sitting at the edge of the bed and you're in disbelief, like, wow, that really happened like that? You know what I mean? It's different things like that. And then I stopped watching any of that kind of stuff. It is not fruitful. Not for my mind. I'm just gonna speak for myself. Not for my mind. I am all about Hallmark. Okay? I am about that life. I am all about the warm and fuzzies, because what I'm saying is that those other channels, they stay out. I can put one on now. We can all change the channel to a story that had happened, and it's like, it just makes keeping your heart feel bad. It makes keeping your mind feel bad. Like, it keeps making you feel so bad for the things that are going on in the world. And you say to yourself, why? We're asking ourselves, why? How could this happen? How could this person do this? And, you know, all these questions. So we as a human race are becoming desensitized, and we're becoming, oh, he's laughing. We're becoming, his laugh is so cute. We're becoming immune to the things that we're seeing now. Like, you know what I'm talking about, right, guys? Those stations that show not so nice things that happen to people. There's a lot of those stations. And we're becoming, what I'm saying is that it's not even like anymore like, ooh. Now it's just like, well, that's the way things are, and that's so sad. But since we are at the stage where it's like people are becoming desensitized, that's why I feel like more now than ever, we need to, us moms, stay in our lane. Us women, we need to stay in our lane. Like, so I'm just gonna speak for me, okay? I do not want anything to do with trying to act like a boy. I don't want anything to do with, because right now, like when I was younger, it wasn't like how it is now, you know? You can't really, like, people are just like, this whole conversation is just like about, people are serious right now. People are angry right now. You know what I mean? And see, me, I'm the kind of person that if I'm angry about something or mad, I can get over it fairly quick. Because it's not on the front of my mind, first of all. And then I have a child that makes me smile and laugh all day, and you know, makes me go nuts too, you know. And I have so many other serious topics on my mind that I don't stay mad. I don't stay like mad forever. I could never. They say never say never. Well, it hasn't happened yet. So, you know, and just because you forgive doesn't mean you forget, right? But I'm just saying, what you were mad about. Some people will hold the torch and be like, yep, I hold a grudge and I'll hold it forever. I'll never talk to you again. And you know what I'm saying? And they will take that with them. And that's okay if that's how they want to be. But what it is that the only thing that does is block your energy. This is kind of like, can go like a few different ways and places too. But when you stay upset and you stay mad, what do you think that is really actually creating? What does anger do if you hold on to it? I could never. When you hold on to anger, it's like this thing, and it festers and it festers, and it's like maybe a bug or something, and it just like, it becomes inside of you, right? And you're like angry. You're just angry. It's like, and those things come from a place too. God bless those people that can hold on to those grudges, because I would have been done, forgot about it, or it really just is like not. I have so much bigger fish to fry in my life that like it's cool. Doesn't mean we're gonna be the same, probably not, but it's all good. Right? Meaning you have to make things all good with yourself. You have to make peace with yourself, right? You have to self-check yourself. That's what I'm saying. You have to check the temperature on yourself. We have to give ourselves grace, right? This all that I'm talking about that we need to give to ourselves, it can go backwards and it can go frontwards, if you're following me. It can go frontwards and it can go backwards. It can spread out, it can come back. Because if we're not right within, it's gonna show. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna fester in us, and we're gonna carry that. We're gonna carry that anger. Not only are we gonna self-sabotage ourselves, but we're just gonna be like not so nice to other people who don't deserve it. And I mean, boy, I know this topic really well, guys. Right? I know a thing or two about these kind of things that I'm talking to you about, okay? But these are just my own self-evaluations, things that have helped me. Yeah. And again, when you're angry and you're really hurting, depending on what you do with that, whatever your next step is, how can I say this? I'd want to think that our next step would be our best step, right? But when you're moving with anger and you're moving with resentment and you're moving with fear and you're moving with pain and you're not giving yourself a break and you're not giving yourself grace, you're not moving with your next step is your best step. You're moving in fumble mode. You're about to fumble. You're about to crash out. You're about to drop the ball somewhere, right? Because here you are with harbored up emotions built all in here in your heart chakra, right? Our hearts, our inner beings, our souls, right? Because this is just the flesh. My son is in there laughing, cracking it up. Oh, I wonder what, I love hearing it. He's like, ah! Oh, he is cracking up. It's so cute. I wish you guys could see it, but if I go in there, he might stop laughing. He might be like, Ma, don't disturb my groove. Don't disturb my groove. So what I'm saying is that when we are angry, because I know that obviously I'm saying these things, and from my experiences, I'll just give you a very general example of maybe like if when I was really younger or something like that, and I was angry and stuff like that, it just, when you're angry, it's like you feel like you want to feed off your you want to feed your anger. I want an iced coffee. Give me an iced coffee. Oh, I might as well have a cigarette too. Thinking you're smoking on your nerves. Give me that iced coffee. And it can get worse, right? That's just a light rabbit hole. And there's levels to those rabbit holes, right? That we can all go down, and we can self-sabotage and want to feed our anger and fester in our anger. And it's like the only one who is festering and feeling these emotions, and then somebody calls you, and then you're like, I just gotta tell you, like, and then you don't really realize the other person on the other end, depending on what kind of person they are, if it happens frequently and consistently, it's like you're really like dumping your crap on them all the time. You know what I mean? And the other person has to be the type of person that wants to hear it. Like, okay, girl, tell me what's up. Tell me what happened. And that's when it can feed off of each other. But not everybody's like that, right? And that's a good thing, because that's not a good way to be. Just my opinion. Because and so all that anger does is builds up, fester up. You're angry, you're self-sabotaging, you're snappy, you're mean. But most importantly, really, is your soul and your heart. You're doing something to your body internally that you don't even really realize at that time. And you're blocking all of your energy, and you're just blocking your creativity, and your heart is hurting because your heart is there and your heart wants to love. Your heart don't want to be mean. It's a heart. Hearts are not made to be mean, right? So when you clear out your own energy, and you clear out your own system, and you clear out your own backyard, and your own air, and your own mind, and you learn to take accountability, and you don't point the fingers, meaning, again, there's levels, because there's levels to what we're talking about. Picking on yourself is absolutely just not the cool thing to do anymore. Talking bad about yourself, it's out of style, okay? Not that it was ever in style, but I'm just trying to be a little humorous about it. It's not the thing to do, because our brain hears us, and it doesn't know, our self doesn't know what's true and what's not, right? It really doesn't. It's just a consciousness. So if you keep saying bad things to yourself and about yourself, you're going to automatically believe that subconsciously. You're going to stop believing these things about yourself, and it's going to give you a low self-esteem. Then you're going to be more angry, So we have to stop being kind to ourselves, first of all. We have to cut ourselves slack. But we do have to be grown, and we do have to be adults, and we do have to take accountability. Meaning, let's say somebody upset you, so you're upset at that person, or somebody did something that you don't like, and you're upset about it or whatever. Now you're angry because that person pissed you off, so to say, right? Now you have the torch, because now you can be angry for a minute, don't get me wrong, but don't hold that anger torch all day and take it out on other people, take it out on yourself, because it's like you really just are looking for an excuse to be angry. Like, don't let other people's mishaps and stuff like that, and stupidity and foolishness, make you so angry that it even matters. Like, don't let people upset you like that and make you angry like that. But most of all, when I say accountability, right, don't blame other people for how you feel today. Because when God woke you up today, you have a choice. You know how many people didn't, right? A lot. So we woke up today, and that's our blessing. That's our blessing. Every day to me is a holiday. Every day is a good day. I mean, not every day is really gonna go my way, right? And not every day is gonna be literally the greatest day of all, but for real, it should be. If I work on myself the way I need to, it should be, and I should feel like every day is a holiday. Because all of that, like, all these holidays that come, I understand why everybody can be the way that they are. Like, it's what our human race has evolved into. Some of us, I'm not speaking for everybody, I'm just speaking for some people, right? But I don't even want to be one of those people that I idolize a holiday that much that if something goes wrong, it's gonna mess up my whole freaking world, right? It's gonna set me back. No, life is too serious and too real for things like that. Like, the meaning of these holidays, put all that meaning into yourself every day, into your loved ones every day. You don't have to give somebody a special gift on a day that was man-made. You might think it's for this reason or that reason. Biblically, everybody believes what they believe, right? But still and yet, don't use those things as excuses to give. You don't need those things as, what I'm saying is, you don't need to use those things as excuses to love one another, to get together, to apologize, to give gifts, to make things right, to have these talks, to talk about it, to have these "are you okay" conversations. How many families, oh, I ain't seen Jim since last year on New Year's Eve, because you know he done acted a whole mess, right? Oh, so I might not go this year because what if he's there, right? It's like a lot of people have somebody like that in their family or something like that. But really, like, life is too short. Life is too real. Let it go. Give Jim grace, and whoever got Jim mad, give him grace too. You know what I'm saying? Stop everybody just wanting to be mad. And now there's some people out there who don't want to be mad. And if you don't want to be mad, it's going to show. Because you're just not going to be mad. You know what I mean? Like, if you, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, things are just, like I said, we're living in a world right now that is so wonderful as far as the opportunities that we have that we can take advantage of. Okay, this internet business and stuff like that, and all these things there are to learn on this internet, and how we can actually have these platforms to make a difference and share with each other, talk about the things that we know, the things we've been through, help one another, put out our hand and extend our hand to one another. You know what I'm saying? Is mind-blowing, and it's beautiful, because my mother wasn't here to see this, and my grandmother wasn't here to see this. But if they were, oh, they'd be having fun with it. They would have been on this platform faster than me. What? My grandmother and my mother? I would have walked up in her room and she would have been like, "Bridget." And I would have been like, "Yes, Ma. Come here." I'd have been like, "Okay. Ma, what you doing?" her laying there eating a candy bar or something, like goodies or something. And I'm over here on YouTube making a I'm telling you, my mother would have been on top of these kind of platforms faster than me and my grandmother, because they was just like, they was sparky like that, you know what I mean, but in a good way. And I just feel like, you know, we should just use it in a good way. And so what I'm saying to you guys today is just all coming from self-experience. You know what I mean? And it's only my opinion. And everybody has one. So it's not even to say mine matters to the next person. But I just wanted to share how I feel, because sometimes people's other perspectives can help you see things in a different way and a different light. And maybe something that I say today can resonate with you 5 days from now. Maybe not even right now, right? It could be 3 days from now. It can be in a situation that you're in, right? So don't let nobody steal your joy, right? Don't let nobody trick you out of being your best self. Not even your own self. Don't let your own self trick you out of being your best self using profanity and nasty words towards your own self. You know your weaknesses, you know your flaws. Embrace them, hug them, love them, and know that it will be okay if you put attention to them. Because those places that you were once weak and were not okay and you were not okay with, as long as you put some love in that place and attention in that place, and maybe go talk to somebody about that, that's going to become your strength. Okay? So what's weak today can be strong tomorrow. Do you know what I'm saying? It doesn't make you a weak person. Right? Things that we go through do not make us weak people. We have a choice. Do we want to be a victim, or do we want to be victorious? And that's a whole nother story too. Very touchy. Because we have lots of victims up in the house. You know what I'm saying? That have been victims of circumstantial situations, so on and so forth. And I know a lot of you guys have too. And I send my condolences to bad things that have happened to you. You know, life happens to all of us. We're not exempt. None of us are exempt from this place called life. We just have to learn how to have our proper utility belt on, and have our proper tools in that utility belt, and not just have the utility belt with the tools and don't know how to use them, right? We have to take care of ourselves. Us women, us mothers, we have to heal for real. Because we're lovers, we're nurturers, we smell beautiful, right? We birth these children. We get on that table and we almost die to have a child. And love towards anybody that has had a bad situation, like, you know what I mean, with that kind of stuff. But I mean, they do say that childbirth is the closest to that you can get. But that's what we do as women. We birth children that lead nations, right? So it's like, we don't want to be all battered up and scarred up inside and stuff like that, and like our children feel that, and then that's the energy that we give them, and they go outside with that. You know, we want to let it be known that we want to be in our lane with our big hearts and our chest out and our chin up, but like a lady, but a strong lady, right? But when I say strong, that doesn't mean you have to like show your strength through. You can show your strength through whatever way you want, but I think showing yourself grace and showing other people grace and understanding is a good way to start. Because weak people cannot do that. That's not made for the weak. Right? Addressing yourself and self-analyzing yourself and working on yourself through your inner issues and through our inner little cricks and crannies and all that stuff we got going on inside. That's not made for the weak. That's not made for the weak. Right? But ignoring it, it's not the way to go. If you want to start your healing journey, or if you want to shed some grace on yourself and love yourself wholeheartedly, no matter what anybody says or does, and no matter what anybody says or does, maybe you might get in your feelings, or your feelings hurt for a second or something, but you know yourself and you know that what's the truth, and you know your intentions, so you don't carry those things with you. We don't carry other people's weight with us anymore. We shouldn't. We do, and we probably still continue to. We probably still will continue to do that to a certain extent, right? But as long as we're trying to empower each other and help each other through conversations and through love and bringing things to the forefront and not hiding behind our pain and hiding behind this persona of perfection, this persona of this beauty, or whatever, money, whatever, status, whatever, right? Because my whole thing is that once you take all that off, who are you as a person? Who are you as a person? After all that designer and all that stuff comes off of you, you have to deal with yourself as a woman, right? So I just think that I was thinking about stuff like that today when I was walking with the baby, and you'll get a glimpse of that if you watch my video. I think it was like a 20-minute video or something like that earlier that I made, and I was just thinking about that because it's so important. Like, the first way to have a good day I would definitely say is to thank God when you wake up, right? Pray over your children, your house, your family, yourself, and instead of getting so eternally hot and heated about something about yourself, just talk about it with yourself. Take it down and metaphorically put it out, take it out and let it blow in the wind, and just be like, I'm gonna do better next time. I'm not saying we neglect, you know, the higher selves in ourselves, like, you know, like meaning like, oh, I'm getting to work late all week. Well, you know, that's not a reason to beat yourself up. Certain things are, nothing is a reason to beat yourself up about. You know, we have to work through these things, and we have to learn to get through these things, because when life really gets real, let me tell you, getting late to work is not the worst thing you can go through in life. And if you lost that job behind that, that's still not the worst thing you can ever go through in life. But you can prevent that if you want that job. Just trick yourself like I do, right? And if I have to be somewhere at 7, I'd be like, I gotta be there at 6. You know what I'm saying? And it just helps you move along a little faster. Try to, you know what I'm saying, use little different coping mechanisms for yourself to make yourself feel better about yourself, but on the real side. You know what I'm saying? Like being authentic with yourself, being for real with yourself. Like, don't lie to yourself about yourself. Like, we know all about ourselves inside. You know what I'm saying? We know our own little funky ways. So what I'm saying is that as long as we know, but we are addressing them, and we don't like self-hate ourselves and self-sabotage ourselves, we're going to become better human beings. We're going to become better women. We're going to be able to raise better children and be better mates, because we're not holding on to anger and all that other stuff that we don't need. We don't need that stuff blocking our heart chakra, blocking our energy from love, from the cultivation of love that we naturally have, right? And all the blessings and abundances that we have. We don't want to block none of that by being mean or angry. You know, I don't even want to say the word like hatred. I didn't even want to say the word. We don't want to be that way, because that's not, God didn't create us to be that way. A lot of us have ended up that way and been in situations where we were that way. Just as long as we are learning how to get out of that way, right? We got to get out of our own way to become a better version of ourselves. So for like the men, I would say pretty much like the women, we're very different, obviously, men and women, but men, you wouldn't take it from me, but I would say try to start being really authentic with yourself too, you know, and about you and about your life and about what it is that you can have in your life if you do this and that, what it is that you can have, where it is that you can go, what kind of family you can lead, what kind of family that you can provide for, right? But don't trick yourself out of even having the opportunity to have 2 feet on solid ground in the outside world and just build, you know, 1 brick at a time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Standing tall on the legit side and on a good side. And I know many of you men are like that, you know what I mean? And some men are, you know, and everybody's different. I'm not, God's the judge. I'm not the judge. I have, you know, family, and I know men of different ways of life and stuff like that. So I'm just saying, but all of them that I know, it is very hard for them to open up. And all of them that I know, some of them that I know, you wouldn't even know that they're angry. Some of them that I know, you would know that they're angry. Either way, that's a recipe for a disaster, because they're not coming forth right, you know what I'm saying? And letting it be known. Like, hey, this really bothered me. This and that. You know what I mean? Like, you guys have to, like, men, like, hands down, I can go somewhere else with this, but I'm not going to get into it all that deep. But I'm just going to say, hands down to the men, us women need you. We really do. Okay? We need our men to be healthy and healed emotionally and mentally, because by nature we want to follow our boyfriend when we're younger, and when we're an adult we want to look up to you and admire you and have those like googly eyes and those butterfly feelings in our stomach and be like, don't you just love him? He's just the best. My man. Right? That's all us little women want. We're like your cute little poochies. We're like, even if we're strong and we have our own careers and we got it going on and stuff like that, we still have a weakness for our men. We still love the little boy in our men. You know, we still think that our man is like, if we love them, if we learn to fall in love with them, like as a friend and as our man, we just think that like you're the best, right? And we believe everything you say and all that stuff. So I'm just saying, you guys gotta do better. For the ones who are not, you know who you are. But I'm just saying, do better as far as opening up and not thinking that that's weak. Whoever told you not to cry, don't believe them. You know what I'm saying? Because you can just go cry by yourself, and that's okay, and talk to you and God. You can go spend all that money you got on a really great therapist, a really great life coach, and you don't have to tell a soul, and get you on the right track. You know what I'm saying? That's not a weakness. Crying is not a weakness, and being emotional is not a weakness. But once you get to a certain age and you cannot control your emotions, and you're lashing out on people and stuff like that, you're no longer our leaders. You're our abusers, and now we're scared of you. Our kids are scared of you. Your ladies are scared of you. We don't want to be scared of our men. We want you guys to be our protectors in an upright way. Meaning, if somebody broke into the house. You know what I mean? Like, we don't want over the top. You know what I'm saying? We want healthy men to lead our family. And we want God-fearing men. I want a God-fearing man. I want a man that doesn't want to harm me because he knows his moral compass and where he stands with the Creator. And he follows biblical scriptures, especially when needed, and can look through them with me, and we can follow a higher power than ourselves. Because that's where we get ourselves in trouble in the first place. Relying on our own understanding. Who told us to do that? Nobody. You know what I'm saying? So we have like a whole bunch of women who were little girls that we've had issues, this, that, and we want love. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we fall into the wrong positions. And that's dangerous. We don't want those cycles to keep happening, right? So only thing we can do now is we can't change the past. We can't be the mother to our men. We can't raise them. They're already big. They're already grown. And the same thing for the men. They can't raise us. We're already big. We're already grown. We have to be examples now for our children, right? And that's the least that we can do because they didn't ask to be here. So it's just important to like get together as not just a community, but in your own house, in your own family settings, in your own little 1-bedroom apartment, but whatever it is you have, don't never feel bad about where you came from or what you have, okay? Because as long as you have a good heart and you have good intentions and you want to put that one best foot in front of the other, God's going to bless you. He's going to bless you for your attempts. He's going to bless you in your stride. And when you're walking right and you're walking righteous, the only way to go is right. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not really that complex, but sometimes the way we were raised and the communities that we come from, and it's the things that are not said and stuff like that hurt, you know, all these things can stem from the pain and stuff like that. So those are just a few little, more than a few, but some of the things that I wanted to share with you guys today. And I hope that somebody got something from it, you know. Let's just be a healing, I want to say nation, but this isn't even going to get to the nation. If it just gets to the people who are on my subscription list, thank you. And whoever else that reaches that, you know, if it can reach one more person and be of help to one more person, I want to say thank you for watching my channel. Thank you for listening to me. And I also want to hear you. I want to hear your feedback. You know what I mean? because it's all about, you know, one person helping the next person with the smallest thing, because the smallest things are to me the biggest things, the things that matter. You know what I mean? Those small things make a big difference. So I am going to stop here, you guys, and I'm gonna say good night. Okay, so night night, and tomorrow is Friday, and I'll see you then. Okay, and so you guys have a blessed evening, and love each other, love your children, pray, love yourself first, and just know that love is all we need, right? Okay. All right. Be blessed, guys. Night night. Mwah.